Okay, welcome to Coffee Hour number 2. Instagram, I am totally sorry. I don't even know if that IGTV is going to actually work because I went to the phone call. So, yeah. As I left off, I was talking about my boy Adrian Cowell and my boy Eric Chen. And these guys were great martial artists, and they were helping me make my movie called Fallen Dragons. So, as my journey into acting began with this movie, the contract was stated so that I couldn't remake the movie without hiring all these guys. I had all these hopes and dreams that became the biggest clusterfuck ever. And I apologize to everybody who participated in Fallen Dragons because my career never took off. And I'm sure they're all living great lives, and I hope that they're all happy. And I apologize again because my career never took off. So, in the midst of making all these martial art films that I had dreamed on planning, I also owe a Mr. Hector Lee and everybody from Dragon's Breath an apology as well, especially J Diz and CLS. You guys can go check them out at Drinking Plate. They have a good thing going, and I'm not going to interfere in that stuff. And when they invite me to be a guest, I will do so. Anyway, forgive the background noise because this is more important than the background noise, so I'm going to try to keep going from where I left off. So I made this movie called Fallen Dragons for a studio in Petersburg, Virginia that promised us the Hollywood East dream, which didn't come true for me. So I set out, if you don't get away from my door, you're going to get boots to arse. Anyway, and I know you see them damn lights. Sorry. Anyway, so I set out to make these movies because there's no one like me outside of like The Rock and Tiger Woods who are famous for doing what they do. And you know, here I was thinking, alright, so I'm part Native American, I'm part black, I'm part white. There's nobody like me in the world. There are people like me, but they're mostly just biracial, where I am multiracial. So I figured, get hero. You know, I wrote mad stories. I have mad stories, trust me. I have mad shows, stories, movies ready to go. What I don't have is money to pay actors and a studio. Or you guys would never just heard me tell those little asshats outside my door that I know they see those damn lights. So the only thing I don't have is revenue. You know, I have scripts ready to go. You know, I have things on Native American legends. I have things on black things and white things and Asian things. Everything that I have except for the one thing that I don't have. A studio and actors to film and money to pay them. So when I made Fallen Dragons, I put a contract that if we ever got the chance to remake it, that all of them would get hired again or they would have to get bought out. So, there's that. 20 years has gone by and I didn't get to remake the movie and I didn't get to buy them out because I was not given a shot or a second look at the studio. So when I gave them a copy of Fallen Dragons, they pretty much told me, you know, we don't do kung fu movies and your movie sucks. Well, yeah, here's why the movie sucks. I didn't have 14 people that I needed. I only had 7 I had to work with, but I had. I couldn't tell the story that I wanted to tell because I didn't have anybody to play my mom. Didn't have anybody to play my father. I was blessed to get Eric Chen, and I was blessed to get Adrian Cowell. I was blessed to get the Bowie sisters. I was blessed to get J Diz. I was blessed to get Lewis, and even Bruce made a cameo. And you know, I had to put together, and the other guy whose name I can't remember right now, I had to get what I could get done in a small amount of time. And I've learned how to make movies from that era of how I can film a movie in 4 weekends. And it can be done. It's just a matter of getting the people you need. And also having people who commit actually show up. Alright? We're going to go there. We are going to go there when I get back around to Guardians of the Earth. So, I made Fallen Dragons. I sent it to them. And Mr. Fox, which I think was his name, I think his first name was Roy or Ray, but anyway, I don't even know if the guy works there anymore. But anyway, the studio didn't like it. They also never sent it back. Sundance didn't like it. They gave me a letter. It's in the basement somewhere with the copy of the movie on a VHS tape. I'm sure you probably don't know what the hell that is. But a VHS tape is something about like that big. It fits into a VCR. You push play and rewind. And you can see all the stuff that I did. Okay, getting that out of the way. So my next project was called Dragon's Breath. And so I made Dragon's Breath. Again, I had some people from the other movie in there, except for the ones that, like, the Bowie sisters weren't there. Adrian and Eric, and Philip had all pretty much graduated, and I couldn't find Lewis. So I had to improvise with what I had again. And so when you don't have the people that you need to fill in the roles that you need, also the lead lady, who is from India, because I needed an Asian, I would have preferred a Chinese Asian or a Native American Asian. None of that shit was available, but this Asian that I knew, she knew Kung Fu. And then the day before we started filming, she quit. So in the scene where I get knocked out, I have a flashback of her. So what I did was, whatever unfortunate young ladies walked into my scene while I was filming, I used their rears as, figuratively speaking, the replacement of my girlfriend for the film. So I had a good script. I had everything set, and I just didn't have people, which also is another reason why I owe Mr. Lee the biggest apology ever, because my career just didn't take off. So again, Mr. Hector Lee, who's Chinese, who worked at the university somewhere, or his wife did, or somebody that Mr. Lee knows worked at the university. We filmed all our stuff at the Coliseum at the university. So, I had a thought, I can do like Bruce Lee and film at this Coliseum. It's going to be awesome. So a couple of fight scenes are filmed at the Coliseum. I got hurt at least once messing with Charles. So that was fun. Then I put in ghost trails and special effects sounds, and it just really didn't really work out. But it wasn't that bad. It could have been better. But again, lack of people. So in both movies, I'll have you know that my character is supposed to be, in Fallen Dragons, I was half Native American, half black, and I had a Chinese father. Which would make sense since I had a full-blooded Chinese guy play my Chinese half-brother, and his name was Adrian Cow. Thank you, brother. We had a great fight scene on the steps. I'm obsessed with fighting on steps. All of our fight scenes were on steps at the university, at Clemens Library. So we had mad fight scenes on steps. Anyway, then when I got to Dragon's Breath, we also fought on steps. Jay Diz and I fought at the Coliseum, and then we fought Taz on the ground of the Coliseum. He only showed up for 2 shoots, 2 days. So, when you can't get people to commit to making a film, it's kind of difficult to make a film. Understand where we're going here. Like I said, I have everything I need except for people and the ability to pay people. Now, moving through Dragon's Breath and Fallen Dragons, I just thought, it's going to be like that. It's going to take off, But I could never get back up with the studio in Petersburg. And they constantly kept telling me, we don't do Kung Fu movies. And I'm like, okay. Now, prior to that, when I gave them the movie and all that shit, I asked for whatever job. Before I left that day, when I talked to Mr. Fox, I said, let me be a stuntman. We don't have that. Let me be a writer. We don't have that. Let me be a boom guy. That's the people that hold the mic. We don't have that. And I'm like, well, damn, let me be the cook. We don't have that. Let me be the janitor. We don't have that. So it's like, no matter what I tried, these motherfuckers were not trying to give me a job. And I'm sorry for swearing, but they were not trying to give me a job. It's like, dude, you promised us Hollywood East. Yet, I can go to LA if I want to push burgers. The reason why I didn't leave was because you guys were coming to Virginia with the promise of Hollywood East. Actors that live in Virginia no longer have to move to North Carolina, no longer have to move to Hollywood. That was their pitch. My dumbass believed that shit. So I was like, alright, I can be an actor, I can live in Virginia, I can be a half hour from my father in Petersburg, but my father's in Richmond. Half-hour drive. An hour and a half from my mom in Charlottesville, no fucking problem. I don't need to charter a plane. I have a car. I can run 64 all the way to both cities without a problem. And that shit didn't happen. So here we have YouTube and Instagram. And my journey's still continuing at 47 versus 27. I've gotten a little bit wiser. So, it's 2008. And I made this movie, 2007 or 2006. I made this movie called Path of Ascension, which introduces CLS into my film stuff. And then there's Charles, who's been in a lot of my stuff. And then there's Jay Diz, who's been in almost every damn thing I've ever done. Because we've been in it. We made The Cleanup, A Clone Affair, Dragon's Breath, Fallen Dragons. We did something for him. And then on a side note, I did this thing, what the hell was it? I did something else. I did it for Lewis and Bruce. Maybe that was The Cleanup. Anyway, I did some shit. Alright? And the whole time, I'm never thinking negative about this shit. Like, there's no negative at all. And then I had a girlfriend. So in 2008, my boy Courtney, Rodney, Octavius, J Diz, CLS, Charles, Dustin, myself, and Dejan, we're going to make this movie, well, this TV series called Guardians of the Earth. So here's where shit goes from to butt fucking fast. Alright. So, first and foremost, it was a spin-off of The Path of Ascension. Now, The Path of Ascension started it all because The Path of Ascension was about people who had earthly superheroes. I was air, J Diz was fire, CLS was water or ice, and Charles was earth. So that's on Kung Fu Havoc #1 if you want to go see that. That's actually up, so you can actually go see that. Now, as for the rest of that shit, I don't know where the cleanup is. I don't know where A Clone Affair is. I don't have Fallen Dragons on a disc. I have it on a DVD tape. I don't know how to put that on here. When I figure all that shit out, I will have those up. And then mostly on my YouTube channel. And then freaking the Guardians of the Earth got stolen from Bruce. Now here's where shit went really wrong. First, Bruce loses his job. That's his business. I'm not going there. So he loses his job. So instead of him just being straight with me and saying, James, I can't put the special effects in, which would have saved me a lot of problems, he didn't. He decided that I'm going to take this stuff to Alabama and I'm going to put the special effects in and I'm going to mail it back. Well, somewhere within a couple of weeks of him going to Alabama, he was mugged, cattle-pronged, and my shit got stolen. My computer got stolen. My footage got stolen. So there's a watered-down piece of crap version on Kung Fu Havoc #2 that you can find. It's basically camera-to-camera transfer. I don't know how much of it actually continued to play. But it's like from this laptop, it's recording from another laptop. So everything is fucked up on that shit. And if I ever get a hold of the person in Alabama who has my shit, just send it back. 512 Rougemont, Charlottesville, Virginia. I just want my shit back. I don't want any problems. We're not going to have any legality. Just send me my shit. Put that shit in anonymous because it was the best shit I ever done. It's the best shit I ever done. And so, my bro Courtney, he played the bad guy. His bro Rodney and his bro Octavius became my bros. And we did a lot of good stuff. We did a lot of good shit. It was like fucking the best shit I've ever done in my fucking life. And I haven't been able to replicate it or duplicate it. And no one can see it. Because some asshole in Alabama has it and refuses to send it back to Charlottesville, Virginia, 512 Rougemont. Just in case he's watching. Or she's watching. Whoever has it. So when we were making this, my fiance would break up with me. Like, this started that whole ball of bad luck for the last 10 years. So she would break up with me. My shit would get stolen. I would go to the army, get my fucking hip fucked up, and it just kept going from there. So here you have 10 years of my journey that has just got like from bad to worse without a freaking doubt. In fact, Instagram, you're probably the only social media site where I'm actually doing pretty good with 700 and some change followers, where I only have 106 people on YouTube at Kung Fu Havoc #2. I had like 39 on Kung Fu Havoc #1. And I have over 1,000 followers on Facebook, but none of them has jumped over to Kung Fu Havoc #2. And like I said, just watch it for the martial arts. Don't watch it for my political affiliation because I'm not a Trump fan. I don't give a flying fuck about none of that shit. Just vote. But the point of the matter is, the reason why nobody knows who the hell I am is because my good shit got stolen and I haven't been able to replicate it. And then having a hip replacement has really slowed down my martial arts like by a fuck ton. So I can still fight though. Don't get it twisted. But the point being made, this journey into acting has not been fun for 20 years. I've had fun moments, like when I'm making these movies, man, and I got everybody gung-ho and we're all on board. It's good. Now, this is the other part. So in two things that I've done, I've had two people walk at the worst possible fucking time. Alright? So for Dragon's Breath, the lead female who could do martial arts, she copped out. like the day before filming, actually, she copped out. She literally just said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "What's the problem?" "I'm having family issues." I said, "Every day I take a breath, I have a family issue." But I wasn't gonna argue with her. I wasn't paying her, so she had to opt out. But she did sign the contract, and I let her know, if you ever become an actor in real life, once you sign those contracts, it's pretty much a death sentence. Because I learned from the Dukes of Hazzard, when they signed their contract, how much they got sued for. So I'm like this: if I sign a contract, it's gonna be an ironclad contract. I'm in until the show goes off. Unless I'm like, it's like a cameo, and you're like, you're only gonna play this character one time, and you're probably gonna die. Okay, cool. Cut the check. You know, that's me. Just cut the check, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I've been ready for 20-something years, and not one time have I gotten a shot. And every time I've gone to a casting call, "I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, you're not a bad-looking guy, but you're not what we're looking for." And the last time I went to one, somebody finally confirmed what I've always said: there has to be a fucking list. And there is a list. And if you're a 5'3" guy who they don't know what your ethnicity is, you're not on that list. Because I'm not on that list. Anyway, so when I made Guardians of the Earth, it was a 7-part miniseries. I wrote 14 episodes, but we only filmed 7 because everybody's time, they were all working real jobs, and I was working a real job. So we had to we had to consolidate, and we had to get everybody's schedule set. And then certain people had to be killed off in the first episode because they wouldn't fucking show up to film the rest. You two know who you are. I'm not going to embarrass you here on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I'm not going to do that because that's not what I do. But they wouldn't show up. I mean, they literally would not show up. We tell them the time, and the worst part is they live in my neighborhood. They live right in my neighborhood. One guy's maybe 70 fucking steps. Maybe. 65 if he takes giant leaps. And he's over 5'11", so he should be able to make that trek no problem. This is the part where I be honest. You know, I told them that if they did extracurricular activities like drinking or smoking or illegal paraphernalia, that look, Sunday through Thursday, do whatever you want. Friday, I need you sober. Saturday, I need you here. Period. This is the time we're filming. I got people who are giving up their weekends to work on this film with me. You can at least respect them enough to be there. And that shit just didn't happen. You know, one guy rode a scooter all the way to fucking Amherst. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking, because riding in a car to Amherst sucks. But he rode a scooter. I can't say he was lying because I'm not Jesus. I don't go around accusing people of lying. But I do say this. If you don't want to do something, then you should probably say that before you commit to, hey, let's make this movie. To the guys that committed, thank you. I'm also very sorry that our shit got stolen and that whatever asshole in Alabama has my shit and has not sent that shit back to 512 Rougemont, Charlottesville, Virginia. Or they haven't reached out to me. My phone number, which I probably shouldn't give away online, but at this point, I'm 47. I don't give a flying fuck anymore. 434-981-6543. If you are that asshat in Alabama with my shit, just send me my shit, yo. There will be no legal ramifications, and you can send that shit to me anonymously. Don't even put a return address on there unless you want a fucking thank you note, because I will definitely send you a thank you note, because that was the thing that was supposed to make my career, actually. I mean, it was like 7 episodes of Kung Fu Fury and magical weapons and all kinds of shit was ready to go. It just needed special effects. And this asshole destroyed my hopes and dreams, because I didn't have a movie to put special effects in. Because somebody counterpronged the guy who was going to put special effects in. Which, in turn, had he just told me the magical word, no, I could have found someone else to put the special effects in. Probably would have cost me a lot more money that I didn't have. Excuse me. But it would have got done. Then everybody on Instagram, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook would have been like, that was some badass shit you did there, James. That was fucking awesome. And then 47-year-old James wouldn't be here. Now, I would actually be doing what I want to do. And let me tell you, the honest truth, the whole reason why I wanted to make martial art movies was because I wanted to teach martial arts for free. And a lot of people are going to chunk me on that. But here's the thing. When I was 7 years old, somebody invested time in me until I was 10 years old to teach me karate. And in doing so, I wasn't the only one that he was teaching karate for free. But in doing so, they lost their martial arts school because he didn't really charge people. And he opened my eyes to martial arts, but I was taking martial arts for a whole different reason because I wanted to be a better fighter. And I never told them that shit, but I wanted to be able to whoop people's ass that was bigger than me. So far, smashing success. But I wanted to teach martial arts to people for free. I wanted to make movies so that I can open up a kung fu school anywhere in the world and pay for my dojo with the movie money so that I can teach underprivileged kids like me kung fu. That's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to make movies because that makes me happy. I want to teach kung fu to underprivileged kids for free. You know, I did, as time went on, decided that it would be a good idea to have a limit on what I would teach boys. Where I would teach boys until they were 15 or 16, and I would stop teaching them because all of us men have a macho complex. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's another ballgame. So my limitation on teaching men stops at 15, 16. My limitation on teaching women stops at 21. Now, I know you're thinking, why would you teach women until they're 21? It's not for perverted reasons. It's for the simple fact that women don't have a macho complex, and a woman is not going to look at me and decide, I'm going to kick your ass. Where a dude, on the other hand, when I'm teaching them, a dude's going to look at a male teacher and like, you know what? I'm going to kick your ass. With that shit you taught me, I'm going to kick your ass. I don't have to worry about that with women. Most women, y'all are very peaceful creatures. Where us men, if we think that we can beat your ass, we're going to try to beat your ass. There's no man on earth that does not have that policy in the back of their head somewhere. You may think that you don't have that, but I promise you, if I teach you something that works, you're going to want to see if that shit's going to work on me. Now, here's the rule of thumb all senseis should tell you right now. I'm teaching you everything you know. I'm not teaching you everything I know. And there's nothing that I'm going to teach you that I can't counter. Understand that. There's nothing that I'm going to teach you that I can't counter. And I'm a quick study too. So if you go to another school and you do some shit that I haven't taught you, don't think that I'm not going to notice that shit. Because when I was in Mr. Ennis's class at the Inner Stairway here in Charlottesville, I did some shit that he didn't teach me. And he's like, where did you learn that? I said, I knew that before I got here. It's like, well, don't do that. Only do what I teach you in here. And that was a tiny bit of a problem. Which was also another problem is the whole black belt system. All that shit's bullshit. Alright? All of it's bullshit. But just because you have a black belt doesn't mean you can fight. I want you guys to remember that before I end this video. Know that as facts off the bat. You can have all the black belts you want in the world. Walk outside and get your ass beat by somebody who doesn't know a fucking lick of karate. Just remember that that shit's possible. That shit is highly possible that you can walk outside tomorrow. I got this black belt in Taekwondo. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Say something to the wrong guy. I got this black belt and busting out your goddamn teeth. So it doesn't matter. And fighting experience. Fighting experience is everything. If you haven't been in a lot of fights, or if you've been in more tournament style fights than actual street fights, you're going to have a problem when you run up on a street fighter. You get into a tournament style fight, you're fighting somebody who's been in tournaments, y'all know the rules. No kicking in the nuts, no eye gouging, shit that, you're going to have good hits and kicks and shit, and you're going to have protection on. But when you get out of that dojo, the real world sucks. And getting hit without a pad on in the face fucking sucks. Getting kicked in the crotch does happen. Getting kneed in the face does happen. Legitimately, when you leave that dojo, 20% of what you've learned that day will work in the street. That other 80% is going to stay in the dojo. It's the same thing with UFC. If it works in the UFC, it more than likely will work on the streets unless you're going against somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're doing and who can take a beating. And that's the other thing that I have a strong believer in, and everybody's going to go against me, so good luck to you on that. It's better to be tougher than stronger. It's also good to have good cardio and know how much of a beating you can take. Because if you can't take a fucking beating, you're going to find out. When that first punch comes across and you go to sleep, you're going to know. You're like, okay, I couldn't take a beating. So again, the black belt system, break a brick. It does not mean you are a good fighter. Break a board. It does not mean you're a good fighter. It just means, oh, you're strong. You can break a brick. Oh, you're strong. You can break a board. But bricks and boards don't hit back. And that shit came into karate somewhere in the 60s and 70s. In real life, you're not going to go around punching bricks and boards and shit when you get into a fight unless somebody does one of these numbers and there's a board there, or there's a brick there, and you smash your fucking hand. So, journey into acting. You know, it has not been the best of journeys. It has been pretty bad. You know, when you go to these casting calls and they look at you and they scan you, get you spin around a little bit, check out your backside, and they don't strip you down. I'm sure they probably want to, but they don't strip you down. They don't make you go, let's take off this shirt and see if you're cut under here. Let's see if you're built, you know. So you got your little tank top on, you and your little belt. You look like you're somewhat solid, you know. You got abs? Hell nah. That's why that shirt's right there. Looks like I got abs. Shirt's a little tight. That's a trick somebody taught me. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, they'll look you over. They'll see what you look like. And this is 10% of your acting. Love Snake Eyes? That's like 10% of anything is your look. Your acting skills, good luck. You could be the greatest actor in the world and never get discovered. You could be the worst actor in the world and have a job. That's how this business works. That's exactly how this business works. And being patient is how I work. As you can hear my 2-year-old niece run up and down the hallway like a chicken with her head cut off. And if she keeps doing that, I very well may go cut her head off with my foot. Anyway, you know, I have other talents outside of martial arts. You know, I can be a voiceover actor. I can change my voice to a demon voice. I can get highly pitched too. I hope you guys can hear what I'm saying. So it's not like I'm not talented. It's just that no opportunity. And when you're not given an opportunity, you don't get to thrive. You know, you really don't. I also write tons of scripts. Tons of them. I have them. They're set. They're ready to go. You can't see them, but they're in those boxes up there. There's like tons of freaking damn, they're not floppy disks, but they are disks that go into the computer. So, you know, there are tons of those things. Now we use those flash drive things, so I'm going to have to get somebody to transfer all that shit into one of those flash drive things. But I don't know how long those things, how many of those we can actually fit in the damn thing. But I'll have to talk to Eddie about that, because he had to do that for my graphic novel, Love 13. He had to do that for some other shit. But I did it for American Kona Weech, because I just typed it on my HP. And then I put it on the flash drive, and then I sent it to Page Publishing. So we're hoping that this works out by March. But, you know, anybody here before I end this video got any questions on how much my life sucks? The answer is, it sucks a fuck ton. Alright? Because I love martial arts. Martial arts is in almost every media aspect in the world. You know, it's in wrestling. It's in action movies. It's in science fiction movies. It's in horror movies. It's even in love stories. You know, just depends on what kind of love story you're making. You know, and I wanted to make movies because they make me happy. I don't have to be the star. Just want to be working. I'm the star of my own shit. You know. And speaking of which, let me throw y'all back to why Fallen Dragons was important. I had watched On Deadly Ground like maybe 2 weeks before I decided to make this movie. No, get away from my damn door. I watched On Deadly Ground, and in On Deadly Ground, one of my favorite actresses was Joan Chen, who was not Native American, but she played a Native American amongst Steven Seagal and some other non-name Native American / Asian actresses. So I sit there and was like, okay, you know, Joan Chen's not Native American. She's Chinese. How's this working? But it worked out very well. On Deadly Ground is a fairly good movie. I'm just not a Steven Seagal fan. But it was a great movie. And I'm like, okay, something's confusing here. Because Joan Chen's not Native American. But here's how this works. Joan Chen's a great actress. But to get Joan Chen versus some Native American who's not really famous wouldn't put asses in the seats. Alright? Same thing with Vivian Wu, who played Little Drum Beater. Vivian Wu is also Chinese, another one of my favorite actresses. But because it was Tales from the Crypt, and you're not going to hit no-name actors to be in the show because no one wants to know who the hell they are. Henceforth, I am a no-name actor that no one knows who the hell I am. And the reason why you don't know who I am is because some asshole has my shit in Alabama. And you also haven't been to my Kung Fu Havoc 2 site. And you haven't been to my Kung Fu Havoc 1 site. And I'm just getting new to this Instagram thing, so I'm taking a journey, and I thank you all for being here. As for Kung Fu Havoc number 2, I think I got some new followers in there. And again, I beg you to just watch it for the Kung Fu shit. Unless you want to learn about racism, unless you want to learn about like bullshit politics that I don't really follow, I give you my opinion on politics. Honestly, they all fucking suck. But this is the world we live in because this is the world we have. This is not the 616, because if it was the 616, I'd actually be a superhero instead of being a damn person who's worried about racism and politics. But racism and politics are in comic books, and you just have to like catch them to understand how this thing works out. Sorry, thing's about to go out. News is on. I don't know how long I can actually be on Instagram versus how long I can record this thing for Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Plus, there's a big load of background noise, and I really want to eat those damn Doritos. These damn Doritos. One thing you gotta understand, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was totally ear-mannered of me to speak with my mouth open. And food. One thing you gotta understand about me, if you're gonna watch me on Instagram or Kung Fu Havoc number 2, you gotta understand, I keep this shit as real as I possibly can. If I'm lucky, you'll never see me cry. If I'm lucky. If I'm blessed, you'll keep watching. But again, I really want you to watch for the important shit. Or what's important to me. Politics is not so much as important as hoping to teach you guys something, especially when it comes to martial art stuff. Now, as a martial artist, I will tell you, I was not always a martial artist. I was a street fighter first. The only reason why I got into acting was because I couldn't be a cop because of family issues, and I already have family members that are cops. So, if I couldn't do homicide and couldn't be state trooper, then I really didn't want to do anything. And I definitely don't want to do narcotics. If you don't get away from my door, I'm going to narcotically remove my foot from your arse. And sadly, as much as I love wrestling, there are no short men in wrestling. Every man in wrestling is like 5'7" and up. I think Rey Mysterio might be 5'6". He might be the shortest wrestler. And I'm only 5'3", and I don't weigh half as much as he does. And then there's the hip. So I'm never going to be able to be a wrestler because of my left hip. And my right hip, the military injured my hips really, really badly because a guy 5'3.5" should not have to carry 300 pounds on his back for infantry, but that's all I got because I'm stupid at math. So brush up on your math, kids. If you want to do military, don't get infantry. But if you're unlucky like me to get infantry, drink milk and brush up on your math. Brush up on your math a lot so that you never have to get infantry. But yeah, the thing is, this acting dream got basically put into my head by my stepmother after I elbowed my father in the face, and it was like lightning quick. But then I really got to thinking about it, and then Power Rangers came out. So Power Rangers was already out since before you guys here were born. It's called Super Sentai. It's been out since like 70, 71, somewhere in there. Yeah, it probably goes back further than that for Japan. And it's still going strong over in Japan. Even Kamen Rider and all those are still part of the Sentai universe. So if you're out there and you're Japanese and you want to give me a job as that, I'll gladly take it. I'll gladly be the first American mixed motherfucker that will be a Kamen Rider or a Ranger. I'll gladly take that job. Gladly. Give me a show. I'll do it. And as soon as COVID's done, fly me the hell out. I just got off the phone with my teacher, so I have like 2 or 3 classes left, and he told me to apply for an application for graduation. I didn't even know that was a thing till today. So, who knew? Anyway, that being said, I don't want to just leave right now. I want to just go deeper into this thing. When I set out to make a movie, if you guys are still interested and you're still here on Instagram, because I don't know when that's going to kick me off, but if you want to catch the rest of this, you will be able to go Kung Fu Havoc number 2. And I would tell you that the link's in the bio, but I don't know how to put the link in the bio, so yeah, that's not going to happen. Just remember, it's all one word. It's Kung Fu Havoc. Havoc spelled with a K, and then the number 2. All right. So if you decide you want to leave and you want to check the rest of this out, it'll be posted in like 2 hours, I guess. Anyway, I got to thinking, I can get paid. I can get paid for this. Cool. Now, in between that, before I even thought about getting into acting, I wanted to fight professionally. There was just a couple of problems that didn't really work out for me. I'm 120 pounds. That was problem number one. UFC didn't have the 120-pound weight class until 2010. And UFC started back in 1993 to 1995. I got out of high school in 1993. The internet was big, but it wasn't like it is now. It was a information superhighway. Like, literally, you could learn anything on the internet. Like, before Google, before YouTube, all that shit. There was Jeeves. Y'all probably don't know who the fuck Jeeves is, but go Google him. Jeeves was like the number one thing, and there was another one. I can't remember his name, but there was definitely Jeeves. You could ask Jeeves anything. And now you have Google and Cortana and Alexa, I think that's her name, and Circe. There's a lot of damn things that you can ask the computer, and it should be able to tell you. James can't tell you which ones, but I had emailed, before I had an email, I emailed the UFC, and I got their address for Las Vegas. So I sent them a note, because I wasn't really good with email. But also at the time, I got a hold of Rec, I got a hold of Pride, I got a hold of ISK Kickboxing. You name it, I tried to join it. And they all basically sent me the same fucking letter right back. So I guess this person worked for all of these companies at the same fucking time. And it's like, if you are only 120 pounds, you need to get your weight up. Now, in my letter, I specifically told them that my metabolism is too fast and it won't let me get my weight up. But the problem was my ass was poor and I was eating basically 2 meals a day because I was eating to stay alive versus, I got 3 square meals, which when I got in the army, we had 3 square meals. And if you didn't eat, they crammed that shit down your throat. That was a joke. But anyway, they did make you eat. And so, but then you would be even more hungrier, so you would need 4 meals. But we didn't get a 4th meal. So, people would sneak contraband. Anyway, you'd be surprised at how far a pack of crackers got you in boot camp. Anyway, moving on. That was not a confession. I watched a lot of people, though. I just was mentally ready to go. So, every time I contacted a fighting association, they were like, sorry, we don't have any flyweights. It's like, even boxing had flyweights and phantom weights and lighter weight. Guys, I'm not a boxer. I am not going to an element where I'm just going to get beat up all the time. I was not going to be, God bless his soul, I was not going to be the Rocky King of boxing. Alright? Let me explain that. If you're not a wrestling fan, you have no idea who the fuck Rocky King is. I will drop that note for you now. You can go Google him. But Rocky King was a black wrestler who won one fight. One wrestling match. And he always lost the wrestling match with the one move that he won the wrestling match with, the sunset flip. Alright? So for those who don't know what the sunset flip is, Google that. Rocky King and the sunset flip. He never got to be as famous as Coco Beware or Ernest the Cat Miller, but I love Rocky King because he never said die. But he lost every match but one. Now, I don't know how he did in the Indies, but when he was in the NWA, before it became the WCW, Rocky King never won. He never won. And then he won one match. And I could be wrong here. He may have won more, but on TV, he only won one match. And that match, he won it with his finishing move, the sunset flip. And it's not a bad move. I mean, it sucks compared to the shit they do today, but he did the sunset flip. And he won one match, And that being said, if Rocky King can do it, as long as I don't quit, I can do it. So, I'm not quitting. But yeah, when it came down to it, I couldn't get into the UFC. I couldn't get arrested getting into the UFC. And I still can't get into the UFC now because of my hip. There's no way in hell anybody's going to let me fight in an arena with my hip being fucked up and knowing that I need hip replacement on the other side. So there's some issues there that, it has to be addressed. And then, they didn't have laws. They didn't have discrimination laws for shit like that, which is another reason why I didn't become a cop because it was discrimination against my size. So there were female cops that was like 5'1", just a little shorter than me, 5'2", even 5'3", and they were a little bit plump. They weren't plump in a sexy way. They were a little bit plump, but, you know, they could get the job, and I couldn't. And as you can see, there's not much fat other than right here. There's a lot of fat here. Thank God for this snake eye shirt. But other than that, I was pure muscle. And I could not get arrested becoming a cop and all kinds of other shit. So now it's gotten to the point where I couldn't get arrested getting into the UFC. I couldn't get arrested getting into acting. No. And then when I was finally doing my own stuff, some asshole in Alabama has my shit. Simple as that. And I can't recreate that magic. I've tried. I cannot create that over again. But I will tell you this. Funny thing how this stuff all comes to pass. When my girlfriend broke up with me and I went into the Army and I gained weight, UFC finally got the 120-pound and below class. So you talk about somebody who's pissed off. I was pissed off when I found that shit out. It's like, so y'all waited almost 9 years to decide, oh, now we can have these lightweight guys in. This like super lightweight versus their lightweight, which was like 145 to like 230. Not like wrestling's, who's like 200 to 230. Or that's why they have the 205 live and all that other crap. So, you know, like, okay, well, that kind of fucking sucks. It doesn't help to be a smaller guy. And I'm not going to do steroids to beef up because I don't like steroids. Plus, I heard they shrink your dick. I like my dick. So I'm planning on keeping it exactly the way it is. And women don't really complain. And if they do, the tongue works. Anyway, I know that was a little bit off. I'm sorry. Couldn't resist it. But the point of the matter is, you know, my journey into acting has not been pleasant. It has not been gracious. It has not been pleasant. And I'm second thinking, you know, I probably should have went to Wilmington, North Carolina. I really should have went there. I probably would have been working by now versus 20 years believing in a studio that promised us Hollywood East and that I would be working so that if something happened to my father because of his health, that half hour from Petersburg is Richmond, right there. Something happens to my mom, who also has diabetes, just like my father, you know, hour and a half from Petersburg, I'm in Charlottesville, right there. No. And none of it came to pass because the studio, we don't make kung fu movies. We don't make scary movies. We don't make action movies. We make historical films, though. Who the fuck am I going to play? I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to be the houseboy. And then to top that off, a lot of people don't even know that I'm actually half black. Now, most people are like, oh, are you Mexican? You have no idea how many times I've gotten, are you Mexican? You have no ideas how many times I've gotten, are you Hawaiian? Are you Filipino? And then my personal favorite, hey Chief, which I fucking hate to this day. I do not like being called Chief. I don't give a damn. Yes, I am part Cherokee, but I am not the descendant of a chief. Do not call me Chief. Alright? I don't know what my grandmother and her grandparents were descendants of. I just know that they're Cherokee. You know? So don't just go labeling me Chief. That also is a good way to get punched in the face. You know? Because sometimes, hey Chief is just as bad as the N-word. And for me, it is traumatic for the simple fact that when I worked at Kegler's from 16 to 19, some asshole who was going through some shit just decided that he was going to keep calling me Chief. Granted, my name tag was there. Granted, if you're on YouTube, you've heard this story before. If you're on Instagram, welcome to my world. The world of being mixed is fun until it's not fun. When people start calling you by your ethnic heritage name versus your actual name. You have no idea how many times this dude called me Chief. Well over 300 and some change. Because I had to do this for 3 years, 16, 17, 18, 19. At the time I hit 19, I was like, Lord, I gotta quit. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. Because I was really fixing to go on the warpath. And he also threw some of those in there too. And then representation. If The Rock hadn't gotten half as big as he's gotten, him and Tiger Woods, if they hadn't gotten half as big as they gotten, most people would not give a damn about us people who are multicultural. They really wouldn't. But we owe that to The Rock. And Rock, if you see this, yo, dude, give me a job. Help a brother out. Anyway, moving on from that. When it comes to acting, multicultural representation, it rarely exists. Also, to all y'all who are shitting on The Rock for wanting to be John Henry, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. First, you get mad at The Rock because he doesn't do black parts. When he wants to do a black part, he's not black enough. So yeah, screw all you guys who are shitting on The Rock for that. And that was like, I think 3 years ago that he was trying to do a John Henry project that they wouldn't let him do because his skin's not dark enough. He doesn't have black people hair. So, we don't even know what the fuck John Henry had as a hairdo. No, none of us was fucking there. No, but it is what it is. So, you do what you deal with. But the whole point of the matter is that my journey to acting is still going on. Getting noticed, getting seen, getting heard. It's like Mission Impossible. You can hear it in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there it is. Mission Impossible. It's nothing that is impossible. It's just highly improbable. Alright? And I have been at this business for 20 fucking years. 20 years. Might not look like it on my face. But I also wanted to make movies before my age catches up with my face. Because I still look fairly decent for a 47-year-old man, and I have like maybe one strand of gray hair somewhere, so I need to re-dye this shit. But I was planning on dyeing it for cosplay. For Ben Reilly, I was going to dye it like solid white or blonde, and I did dye it blonde, but the blonde didn't take. You can see that it's still blonde, it's just like not blonde, not like bleach blonde. So I have to get my shit bleach blonde. I'm still trying to find a price, I'm still trying to get parts, but I have my suits are ready to go. So now I just got to work on other stuff. Which also kind of sucks because my movie in this suit right here, I don't have the blonde hair that I wanted. And I was hoping I would have done that before I made the movie. But at the time, COVID. I would love to put everything on COVID, but I can't. Because, I couldn't get actors. And that was like really COVID. But, more or less, you got to be able to find someone who can actually be there and ready to show up and work. And I tried to get nephews to work for me. That wasn't going to happen. I tried to get strangers to work for me, people who owe me favors. That wasn't going to happen either. So I managed to make a movie using that suit there. And this, and this. This is an old Batman suit. It doesn't have the bat insignia on it, so it worked out pretty good. Now, this is the mask you originally see me in, but this is what I'm supposed to look like under this mask, but this couldn't fit over top of this. So when I take this off, you'll see this, and it'll be just like I was wearing a whole different thing. So hopefully when I put this bitch together, when I get memory for this laptop, so that I can show you the clusterfuck that I did, you'll actually hopefully like it. I was hoping to get started on that this week, but we found out why my computer won't manifest the damn thing. I need to go get more memory for this computer so that it can format the hard drive so that I can actually work on it, and hopefully this will happen before Christmas, after I found out how much it costs and how many days they're going to have my machine. Sorry. Still a little hungry. That one almost went up my nose. But my advice, if you're going to get into this business, man, try to get in it as young as you possibly can. If you look on Instagram, they have lots of roles for kids. Disney's searching for kids. And the younger you start, as long as no one corrupts you, you'll be fine. But I started at 27. I'm 47. I'm living proof this shit don't always work out. No. It's not because I haven't tried. This thing has really become more about who you know versus your acting skills. Right? So like, If I knew somebody who worked at Disney, I'd be working at Disney. Or Fox. And truth be told, I kind of would much rather be an X-Man than an Avenger. Unless I was like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or an agent of S.W.O.R.D. As they also have superpowered humans in them too. Not Nick Fury. But they do have superpowered humans in there. And the same thing with DC Comics, you know. If I knew somebody who worked at CW, say, hey, how would you like to be on Arrow? Or how would you like to be on Flash? Or Supergirl, which is coming to an end. Or Stargirl, which is season 2 starting soon. You know, hell yeah, I'd take those jobs, man. Without question. Even if it's just like a one cameo thing where I only have like one line. I'll take those jobs. Because I've been working at this shit for 20 years. With like absolutely positively no break. Now, I had one guy who gave me a shot. The deal was, I was the bad guy. And I was supposed to beat him up. And I was only going to be in there like for like that one thing. This guy was a Rey Mysterio fan. So the first thing he asked me was, do you know how to do the 619? Do you even know what it looks like? I said, I don't know how to do the 619. But I can learn it really, really quickly. I was like, what? I said, look, dude, I'm a martial artist. There's nothing that I can't learn. There's nothing that I can't do as long as you show it to me and show me how you want it. Now, here's the advantage of being a small guy. This is the total advantage of being a small guy. So, I had where we were going to fight, there was a rail, like a guard rail or whatever. You know, the handrail when you're walking up and down some steps or whatever. There was that. And what he wanted me to do for the fight scene was to do the 619 and kick him. So, after I got the role, I went around to all kinds of guardrails. So if you ever actually seen me doing a 619 through there, it was because I was practicing for a role, which I had got just by talking about going to the Highline Pavilion and looking at some hot and very sexy Asian girls dancing on stage, and they were wearing clear underwear, which one of them had some piercings in an unmentionable spot, and one of them didn't. But their underwear was clear. I mean, it was translucent white underwear. I didn't even know white panties like that existed. I'm a man. I'm glad I got to see that. They were dancing like literally in my face under the spotlight. Not like stripping, but, well, actually, I take that back. One of them actually was stripping at the time. She's very beautiful. And she had very nice boobs. And she was just getting down. We were at JMU. I was a designated driver for my boy A-Dog. He was getting liquor. And I got a Sprite. But I got a whole lot more than a Sprite that night. You know, I was watching, and I was like, oh my God. Because there had never been Asian girls in that entire setup. Ever. Ever at JMU at the Highline Pavilion when it was a thing. There was never any Asian girls in there. It was always black girls or white girls, no Asian girls. These two Asian girls in there, hottest broads on the fucking planet in the building at the time. And they're standing right next to the light, which I had stationed myself so I could see the door over there, and the door over there, and the door over here, and the two doors up there. So I knew where all the exits was. So if I had to kick somebody in the face, I can grab A-Dog and drag his big fat ass out of the goddamn bar. So, I'm watching. And I'm just watching. And this is the story that I'm telling this guy. This is how I got the role. I don't know why they chose me. I guess I guess the thrilling story of looking up some girl's dress, which I wasn't really looking up the dress because they were kind of taking them off. They were in little schoolgirl outfits. God, I wonder if they're watching. Anyway, one of them had some piercings in her nether regions. The other one didn't. But they both shaved very well. And I think one of them had a landing strip. Their underwear were like basically like cellophane. You know, like plastic wrap. That's how light their underwear were. When the light shined on their ass, you could see everything. And they were on the stage at the light. And I'm standing by the light. Because I'm like, my back's against the wall. So if it's a fight, I can use the wall for protection. Because somebody throws a punch, I can sidestep. I can do this. And then I can jab one in them. Well, that was like the farthest thing from my mind when I was sitting at these two Asian women that was beside me just dancing at the light. I don't think I blinked not one time the entire time. Yes, I really love Asian women. Anyway, so I'm just looking at them, and looking at them, and it seemed like time was just taking forever. And then they finally decided before the place really got to jumping, top your tops, pop on out. Because one of them didn't take her bra off. The other one came out of her bra. I think they were lesbians. But they were very beautiful lesbians. And so they went off. So the next week, there was auditions at the university for this film. And my ass went up there to like all other auditions. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get this part. I'm just going to suck bad at this shit. So I went in there. The last thing that I expected them to do was say, tell me a story. I was like, well, what kind of story you want? I thought they were going to literally tell me to go and tell them a story, like Peter and the Wolf or Three Little Pigs, some asinine ass shit. And then they said, what did you do last weekend? And so I told them what I just told y'all. Next thing I know, I left. It's like, alright, well, here's another role I'm not going to get. I got home within an hour of getting home. Hey James, how you feel about playing the bad guy? Can you do the 619? Fuck yeah, I can do the 619. I was just not going to be perfect, but I can do it, you know. I can do it. So, I was like, so you know martial arts? It's like, yes, I am a martial artist. It's like, good. It's like, how do you feel about playing the bad guy? And can you do the 619? It's like, you already asked me that. And yes, I'll need to practice it a lot more. Which goes back to why if you ever saw me doing the 619 through some rails, because that was what the scene required. The scene required me to do the 619 through some rails and kick a guy. So I was like, okay. So he explained this shit to me on the phone. He said, I'll let you know when we get ready to film. So weeks went by. I'm practicing this fucking 619 everywhere I can find a spot skinny enough for my little skinny ass to go through that bitch. 619, 619. Every time I see a roll, I could just be doing like nothing at all and walk past some shit. And I'd 619 that shit. Mind you, I'm like 27, 28, somewhere in there. I'm not 30 yet, but I'm old enough that I can take care of myself very well. So I'm 619ing the shit out of it. I might have just about been 30. I think I might be 29. I was in my 20s or my 30s, and I was doing the 619. And then, after 2 months went by, I started getting worried, and rightfully so, because the movie got scrapped. Sucked ass. The movie got scrapped. And nobody told me until I bumped into the guy at the university. And we happened to be going past the white spot, or the sweet spot. We were under the bridge that trucks in Virginia, when they come through Charlottesville, even though that goddamn bell blast, and it says, if your truck's over 10 feet, you can't come under this train track bridge thing, and they smash into it. That's where we were when I found out I wasn't going to be making this movie. And my heart was destroyed. Like, literally destroyed. Because I had been working on the 619 for a long motherfucking time. I understand there's nothing worse than putting your heart and soul into something only to have you get slapped in the face by bad news. And so, I was like, well, what happened? He's like, my partner and I had an argument. And I got to arguing with his girlfriend. And that fucked everything up. And so he did apologize, and we went on with life. So I never got to play the bad guy. I never got to do whatever the hell the name of that movie was. Never got to do it. Bad as hell. Because I busted my ass learning the 619. Trying to perfect the 619. Trying to do the 619 in guardrails. Trying to do the 619 and everything that I could possibly find that my little body could fit through, except for wooden stuff. I didn't do it on wooden stuff because splinters suck. Sorry about the background noise. But anyway, the bottom line is, I was this close. Yeah, and I've always come this close when it comes to this acting thing. This close. And it's always the same. We're sorry. You are not what we're looking for. I once applied for Toy Soldiers and Major Payne. Toy Soldiers came first. And so Toy Soldiers, I went there, but they had just had enough students to play it, so I didn't get that role. Major Payne is the one Well, I went there, and the actual casting director said, if you cut your hair off, we'll give you the job. So I went to Joker's. That's one of our more popular barbershops here in Charlottesville. And they ski-balled my head. Cost me $7. I drove all the way back to Crow's Egg, and I did not get the role. And I didn't watch Major Payne after that. I boycotted the fuck out that film because I shaved off all my hair for a role that I didn't get. And then to top that off, I almost got to fighting with one of the actors, who was an actual actor, not an extra, which I was going to be, on the set. And I was like, he said something to me, and I said, dude, I don't know who you are, but I will fuck you up. And he said, you don't know who I am, and I will fuck you up. I said, no, what you fail to understand is, see, you're an actor. You get paid to look good. I am not an actor. I'm actually a fighter, and I will fuck you up. So, after that, my cousin R-Dog dragged me back to the car, and we drove the fuck off. I was going to kill that guy, man. And it wasn't because he was a white dude. It was just because he needed to have his ass kicked. And wherever you are, sir, good day to you. Who could also be a possibility of why my acting career hasn't taken off. Not that he actually remembers who the fuck I am. But anyway, the point of the matter is, I have not had the best of journeys in making this stuff. Sooner or later, I'm going to probably make another video. If I can find all of my old stuff, I'll watch it through my PlayStation 4. I did this before, by the way, for those on Instagram. They're up on YouTube somewhere. I don't know what the hell I called it. But I will do it again. I will have the cleanup up there. I will put up damn near everything I've done. And eventually, if I can get my computer to get enough memory, I will try to put everything up that I've ever done in my entire life on my YouTube. And if I can get it on YouTube, I can probably get it on Instagram. I'm not going to swear to that shit. But I want to get it on Instagram and I want to get it on Twitter. It's going to go to Facebook. So, look forward to that. And again, I am sorry for talking y'all ears off about this stuff. And I'm pretty sure this YouTube thing, yeah, that's like an hour and some change. So, you know, the whole point is that, you know, my journey into acting started 20 years ago. I am 47 now. And I was 27 when I started. And I've had nothing but bad luck on top of bad luck. So, first and foremost, don't ever quit chasing your dreams. Don't ever quit. I'm chasing my dreams and my dream girl. And I'm hoping and praying that somewhere between 2021 and 2023, everything turns around. Because by 2023, I'll probably be 50 years old. And hopefully I can still move like I move now. So if you haven't seen any of my martial arts, go to Kung Fu Havoc #2. Check out only my martial art videos. Don't check out my racist shit. Don't check out the politics shit. Unless you need to learn something about being mixed in America. Because that also has affected my ability to get jobs. When they did Evan Almighty here, I didn't get the role. And the reason why I didn't get the role as an extra in that is because I didn't fit the list. I know a girl who was in the movie. But, you know, when you're an extra, you don't have any strings that you can pull because you just got yourself in there. When the head came here, and I'm going to finish this off. This will be the last thing. When they came here to make the movie, they were also making Conquest or something in North Carolina with Colin Farrell and Christian Bale. They were making the movie about Pocahontas. They were filming it in Wilmington, North Carolina. And a Native American representative happened to be walking past me while I'm in the line for Evan Almighty. And she looks at me and she says, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, as long as I don't have to get out of line, because I was like a lot closer to the front of the line than I was to the back of the line. And she says, why are you here? I said, well, I'm here to be an extra in this movie. Oh, that's why I'm here. I'm trying to get into this movie business. She's like, why are you not in North Carolina? I was like, well, what the fuck's going on in North Carolina? She's like, they're making a movie about Native Americans. It's about Pocahontas. And you need to be in North Carolina. I'm like, you know I'm not all the way Native American, right? She said, you're not? I was like, no. I was like, I'm part black and I'm part white too. She's like, well, you look like you're a full-blooded Native American to me, and you should have your ass down there rowing for extras there. And I was like, okay, look, I don't have a car. I had friends bring me here, because at this time, I didn't have a car. My car was gone. I sold that shit. After spending almost 15 grand on 2 cars and only having one, and it was a piece of crap. And my uncle that I don't speak to got the car from my mom for $50. So, but he also never paid her for it. But she broke it down to me. She's like, you should come on down to North Carolina. I was like, well, if you give me a ride to North Carolina and a roof over my head, I will go with you right now. And she's like, I don't give strangers rides to North Carolina. I said, I don't blame you, but I can't get to North Carolina because I don't have a car. And if I had a car, you give me directions, and GPS wasn't a thing then either. I said, you give me directions, I'll get there, come hell or high water. So that never happened. But, again, when you have a unique look, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. It has not worked for me. So while I'm here, you guys here on Instagram, you guys probably don't know my heritage, and if you do, good. If you don't, I'm going to give you a review one more time. So my name is James Williams Jr. I am Cherokee Indian, I am black, and I am white. I am a person of multicultural ethnicity. So let me drop it down for you. My dad's mom and her mom before her were Cherokee. They came out of Powhite Reservation, or at least the Powhite area. Because I haven't found the reservation. I've Googled the shit out of it and can't find it. My dad's dad is black. My dad looked black. My mom's mom is either Native American and black or all Native American, but she was adopted, so we don't really know her full story. My mom's dad, he was mixed. He looked like a white man with a tan. So, therefore, that explains why my mom looks like she can fit into a crowd of white people, which is why I lost her in a crowd of white people. So, yeah, when you're mixed, sometimes it works for you. Sometimes it doesn't. It also depends on who you're dealing with at the time. So, in that, try to remember that, and a lot of people really just have no idea what my ethnicity is. That being said, Instagram, I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to finish off here on Kung Fu Havoc number 2, and I'll be seeing you. So, thanks for watching. Also, sorry about the background noise. I apologize profusely. You can't edit live TV. So, if you go to Kung Fu Havoc 2 within like an hour or two, it's still going to be loud as hell. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I'll be done in a second. Okay, so for those here left on YouTube, I want to end this with a final sad note. Okay, acting is a very, very, very difficult business to get into. And if you're not ready and if you don't have thick skin, this business is not for you. I've been at this for 20 years. 20 years. So first let me thank all of my 780 followers on Instagram. And now let me thank all of my 107 people here on YouTube. Making sure I got 170 people here. No. I'm pretty sure that I do. It's 107 people. No. And the thing is that, when it comes down to it, I have bust my rump. I have 106 followers. I have busted my ass. And yeah, I have said things here on YouTube that are not becoming, especially in the category of Trump. But I've also said the same thing about Biden. I only voted for Biden because he doesn't seem the bigger of the two evils. Plus, I really wanted Elizabeth Warren to get in there because she's 1/16% Native American. My Native American heritage is very important to me. And I don't know if I should build myself as a Native American or keep going as the multicultural man that I am. I would prefer to go as the multicultural man that I am. But if I have to build myself as Native American to get a job in acting, then that may be what I have to do. So if you guys are responding to any of this, let me know what you think. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing you. And this is like an hour and 9 minutes of your life that you can't get back. So I apologize for that. Have a great night.